Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, today we're going to take a look at another one of my National Knife Day acquisitions. I really only bought a couple of knives on National Knife Day. If you remember, I bought the Kershaw Method, reviewed that here just a bit ago, and now we're going to take a look at this one. This is the MKM Fara in olive wood. This, like the Method, this is another one that has just kind of stared at me for a while, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger. Been looking at it and looking at it, and then finally I was like, all right, National Knife Day, let's do this. So I went ahead and picked it up. Now, as you can see, the Fara came with this really, really cool leather sheath, and it's a leather sheath we've seen here recently, in the not too distant past, because Rusty Knife Lover sent us one to check out with a Tucson. He carried a Tucson in it. So, it's the same slip. I'm absolutely positive it is. But for those of you that may not know, MKM, it's made up of the four horsemen, I guess, of Italian knife makers, and goes, Maniago knife makers. And of course, in there, you have Viper, you have Lion Steel, you have Mercury, and you have Fox Knives. Now, the Fara is actually designed by Lucas Burnley, and this one is actually produced by Mercury for the MKM brand. So, very cool. Very cool. Let's take a look at it. Now, like I said, the leather slip we have here, it's the same, it has to be the same one that we saw from Rusty Knife Lover. There you go. Made in Italy. The one thing I do like about this slip is it's actually magnetic. Now, why do I like that so much? You may ask, am I worried about it coming off and slipping? And, I've carried this quite a bit. I carried Rusty's and never had an issue. Can I say it won't happen? No, I can't. But it hasn't so far. That's about as good as I can put it. There you go, the MKM. Now, the one thing I do like about this is, now, when I'm working, there's several occasions where I have to remove everything from my pockets, rings, I have to take these off. I have a fishhook necklace that I wear. I have to take, you can't have anything in your pockets. You can't have anything on you. And, if I carry this, it just makes it easy. I can pop that off, slide it off my belt, and I'm good to go. I don't even have to undo my belt. So now, is undoing my belt and pulling off my belt a huge thing? No, not at all. But it's just one less step to get ready to go to work. So I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. Now, somebody actually told me, put this in my pocket and then clasp it on the outside of the pocket and carry it like that. I tried it, didn't like it. I didn't like it because, well, and maybe I was just dumb, but I carried it, in the pocket like this. This was on the outside, and of course, the knife is tucked away. Didn't really care for that. Now, I will say one thing. The Fara, it's a fairly snug fit in this slip. But now, as you can see, I've been carrying it stuff, so this slip is actually molded to the Fara pretty well. The other thing about it, though, is the magnet on the back actually you can kind of feel it. And it's probably not too strong going through that wood, but it actually feels like it's actually kind of hanging onto it. So that's kind of a cool little detail as well. So I am enjoying the sheath for sure. And they all come with a sheath. So that's very, very cool. Now, I really enjoyed the look of this olive wood. Now, they did have a darker wood one called a Santos wood, I believe it was. And, man, I was really looking at that one as well. But then that one went out of stock. And I was like, okay, well, I was actually kind of leaning towards this one anyway. So, but look at the grain structure in that. That looks really, I just like the way that look. And in this one, you've got a little bit more character in the grain. I really, really enjoy the way that looks. Now, you've got these embellishments on it, and they're on every one. Like I said, there's this one, there was a Santos wood, there was a black aluminum and a titanium, if I'm not mistaken, and they all have that like 3-dot embellishment on it. Okay. I mean, I don't really, if it wasn't there, I think it would look a little cleaner, but that's just me, you know. It's there. It's, I couldn't find out the reason, if it meant anything or anything like that, or if it's just plain an embellishment on the knife. There you go. Burnley design, M390. We'll definitely get that. I like the little pop of blue on it. I think that's a nice little touch, and that's all the embellishment you have there is on the pivot collar. But that's okay. I like it. I'm digging it. You got a pretty generous lanyard hole there. Your back spring is kind of, come on now. See how it's crowned? I really, really like the way that looks. It does stand just a tad proud of your scales. Scales are milled very well, and it's a really darn good looking knife. Let's check our centering. Yep, it's centered pretty darn well. Now this is a slip joint, and as you can see, you've got a long pull there. Snaps into a half stop pretty well, and then snaps to that open position. As I said, M390, you've got kind of a, it's a drop-ish, clip-ish. You know, they call it a clip point, so okay, we'll call it a clip point because that's what they call it. But yeah, the blade is nice. It's not so much the blade, but it's that handle. That handle just really, really grabs my attention. Now, let's take a look at the choil. Pretty darn good. Extends pretty well past your grind line. Let's see. Now, it looks like it does stop just short. Yeah, you can see there, it doesn't come all the way back, so you do actually have just a tad bit of protection. Now, I tried, and I'm not going to put my finger up there. I'm going to hold traditional grip, or, so on, so forth. Now, remember, it is a slip joint, so it's not locking, but it does go into that half stop pretty well. And it doesn't have a traditional snap. It's got more of a thud to it, if you heard that. Listen. It's got kind of a thud. Now, with a slip joint, now, obviously, this is not a traditional slip joint, that we see with Case or Rough Rider or, GEC, all those. It's definitely a modern take on a slip joint, but I kind of miss the thwack. You know what I mean? The thwack of a slip joint going shut. So let's get our size comparisons, our specs, and then we'll kind of take a look and talk about it a little bit more in depth. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're looking at right about 7 inches fully open. You're looking at about, now I'm getting just over a 4-inch handle. What do they actually say? Close length, they're saying 4.01. All right, I guess it depends on how you, I see it a little bit longer than that, but okay. And that means we're going to have about a 3-inch blade, and you pretty much got a 3-inch cutting edge on it as well. So it is riding on, now they specifically say PTFE washers. Okay, PTFE, Teflon, same thing. Teflon's a brand name, so there you go. But that's what it's riding on. Now, grip length, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, about 3.5. 3.5 on the grip length. And there you go. That's kind of how it looks in my 3 3/4 inch hand. Now, I can get a full 4-finger grip on it. And, well, we'll talk about all the ergos and that good stuff here in a minute. Of course, we'll get our size comparisons out here. Definitely the PM2, a larger knife. We're looking at about a 1/2 inch on the handle and about a 1/2 inch on the blade as well. The bug out is going to be a little bit more of a good size comparison, and that fits pretty well. Handle length, we're right about in there, but there again, quarter pushing 3/8 of an inch on the blade, longer on the bug out. So pretty close, not too bad. Let's get a weight on it. We'll close it up here, safety first, and all right, we're going to start in grams. Well, that's appropriate. It's made in Italy. We'll start in grams. 73 grams or 2.6 ounces. Not a bad weight for the size of the knife. And yeah, that was completely coincidental, guys. I definitely didn't plan on starting in grams. Now, you don't have a pocket clip, so, you know, this is going to be a pocket dropper or a slip carry or sheath carry, if you will. But it carries... in the sheath, like I said, guys, it carries really well, and I don't have an issue with that magnetic sheath at all. Like coming undone, I know that was brought up in another review. So no, I have not had any issues with that. So the Fara overall, guys, it's a very, very ergonomically comfortable knife for me. This thing feels like a dream in hand. I really, really like that swell in the handle there. It kind of fills the palm just enough for my size hand. You know, got to remember, anything I tell you is my size hand. If you have larger hands, obviously you're going to be getting closer to that edge. But as I said, I can get a full forefinger grip on it pretty darn easily. Again, feels like a dream. I mean, the action, we kind of talked about that. It's got a fairly decent action. Snaps into that half stop. You got that snap right there coming open. Then we've just kind of got the... that leaves a little bit... The thud. It's more of a thud than a thwack when it goes shut. So, yeah, say that again. Thud. More thud than thwack. Hey, technical terms, guys. Technical terms. The walk and talk, okay, may leave a little bit to be desired if that's a huge piece of the slip joint pie for you. Other than that, guys, I'm really, really enjoying this knife. It is my knife. I purchased it. Yes. I think this one will stay in the collection for a while. I am really, really happy with the MKM Fara. Absolutely. Now, these guys are not cheap. They're and they're not. 120 bucks. That's what you pay for it, and you get the sheath and the knife. M390 olive wood Italian made knives, or Italian made knives. Italian. Man, that's my hick country living coming out in me. It's a very, very well made knife. You know, obviously, price and everything, that's something you guys will have to determine on your own. But I am really, really digging the Fara. Absolutely. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of MKM knives. We've had 3 or 4 come rolling through the channel. And so far, I'm thinking the Fara might be. But don't forget, we have this one. Oh, yeah. They're going to fight one another for my faves, guys. Now, as far as ergos go, I can tell you right now, the Fara is probably going to inch out the Asanzo on ergonomics. But man, do I ever love that lava flow fat carbon. That's just pretty cool. So there again, personal choice, personal taste. But 120 on this, guys. I'm giving this one an 8.5 all day long. Probably not going to get any more than that out of, you know, an 8.5. That's 85%. It's a well-made knife. There's nothing wrong with it in my eyes. So, but I think that's a pretty fair rating for it. So, guys, I really appreciate you checking it out with me today. The MKM Fara Maniago knife makers, produced by Mercury for MKM, not MGM. That's a movie company. Yeah, MKM. It's time to go, guys. Thank you so much for watching this with me today. As always, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Till next time, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.